Hi, it's Ray with Rock Candy Epoxy Products, and today we are going to show you guys how we build our custom-built countertops from beginning to end. Sit down, grab yourself a drink, you're going for a ride. So yesterday our guys went out to the customer's house and they made this wonderful foam cutout. I personally like to use this foam to make cutouts or templates of the kitchen islands. Once they got the template done yesterday and got all the measurements, we went and got all of our sheets of MDF. We're using 3/4 inch sheets of MDF. Everything has been screwed and glued together to make a good solid 1.5 inch countertop, which is completely different than the countertops than you're gonna get at Lowe's or Home Depot, the cheap ones anyways. We hear all the time from customers, well, why would we buy from you if we can just go down to Lowe's and get the whole countertop or the whole kitchen done for like 250 bucks? Well, the answer is because their stuff is thin, okay? At least if you're going for the cheap stuff. Of course they have better quality, but are you gonna get that for 200 bucks? No. At the end of the day, we make a good solid 1.5 inch countertop all the way across. It is heavy, it is durable. Did I mention it's heavy? It is really heavy. Once they're done with the templates, everything's been screwed and glued together. Look at this little grid pattern that these guys did on this thing. So every screw is placed with intent. Hopefully intent not to hit the saw blades when we cut it out, but sometimes that happens. Now they've got the whole kitchen island drawn out, just about ready to cut. Today we're gonna be cutting and priming all of these and getting them ready for our pour. It's gonna be super cool. So people ask us, how do we make our countertops seamless if they're more than 8 foot long, right? Because the sheets of MDF that we use are generally 8 feet long. This doesn't really apply to concrete, because when it comes to concrete, we just make it 8, 10, 12, 15 feet long, whatever it needs to be, by building a giant form. When it comes to the MDF, we have to use a little trick, and we're going to be doing this soon on a 19 foot long countertop, but I'm going to show you what we do real quick. So this countertop is roughly 10 feet long. We have the exact measurements over there. It's correct. But what we do is we take our bottom piece of MDF and then we seam it in one spot, right? And add in some here. And then the top piece is actually seamed right here. And you can barely even see that seam at this point just due to the sanding. What this does is it sandwiches everything together. The seams are in 2 different places, so it doesn't have a weak snap point. Mr. Putney here is going to Bondo and finish rounding off these edges. He's gonna Bondo this seam right here to make it invisible, and he's gonna Bondo this seam right here to make it invisible. And then we're gonna start priming. At this point, we already have all the countertops together, glued, screwed, sanded down, and now we've added on all this wood filler in all the seams and cracks. We went right on over this seam, and then we went around the seam all the way around where the 2 pieces of MDF were put together. Otherwise, you end up with this nasty seam right here in the center where the 2 were put together, and you can be able to see it right through the epoxy. Your customer doesn't want that, so we took and we filled all the way around, and next we're gonna start sanding. Once we get the sanding done, then it's time to pour the epoxy. And in the event that you're curious what kind of filler we use, some guys use Bondo body filler. We went with Bondo wood filler. We've used the body filler a couple times. Our guys don't like it. They don't feel that it's the right product for what we're doing, I guess. So we switched over to the wood filler and they absolutely love it. You can pick this up at Home Depot. This is a 12-ounce can. I don't know that I would pick up a 12-ounce can personally. It's 22 bucks or so for a 12-ounce can. So we had to pick up a whole bunch of them, doing it the expensive way. We found that you can get it on Scamazon in a 1-quart can for the same price that you pay for a 12-ounce can at Home Depot. You're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck and get more projects done that way.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wash on that. You got a minute.
We have roughly 40 square feet of countertop here, so we made up 128 ounces total of epoxy. We mixed our A into B, mixed a good 2 minutes. Now we're gonna fill up our color cups and make a big bucket of the base coat for our money coat.
How am I supposed to fill these?
How are you supposed to fill these?
Yeah.
Very carefully.
You want me to pour it?
That's what I do.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna need one more shot glass.
I feel like that's gonna be plenty of color.
That should be plenty of color. Now, one little trick that we can give you, something that we found, is it's best if you run, like if you're using a mica powder to pigment your epoxy for your colors, for your money coat, we have found it's best to use a strainer, right? And to run our mica powders through a strainer. This will eliminate streaks and comments. And that's a pro tip. All right, how are you doing on color over here? That looks like a nice lustrous color. All right, so now you're gonna take some of your color coat here, your base coat, and put it right on in the tray. Now, these countertops have an integrated backsplash, as you can see. Obviously, epoxy does not like vertical surfaces, right? So we're gonna start by putting a very thin coat over the backsplash, which we actually already tinted the entirety of the backsplash and the countertops the same as the base coat color for our money coat. This way, if we get any thin spots, you're not really even gonna notice it, but we gotta get a little something up on these backsplashes. Yep, there you go. Now Trent's gonna do the same thing on the backsplash on the larger countertop here. And we're gonna get started laying down our base coat on all the countertops once he finishes that. Yep. So in order to add color to our backsplash, we're gonna take a second 4-inch foamy and we're gonna make sure that it doesn't roll. Mr. Putney here has put some tape on the roller spindle so that way it won't roll, and when we add our color very carefully, which you'll see in a few minutes, it'll keep that foam roller from spinning and just making a mess of the whole backsplash. Good. Yep, right there, good. This way, if we need more, it's over there in the bucket. Some more. Now the guys are already spreading all the epoxy with a notch trowel on the tops. Trent is hitting all the vertical faces real quick. This is gonna help the epoxy flow over, because epoxy only likes to go where epoxy's already been. Now a little bit of color goes a really long way, so I want you guys to watch at how little epoxy for the colors that we actually put into this, and we get all this color out of it. Dakota's using Bondo squeegee. It seems to lay it out pretty cool, and this is kind of the design that what the customer wanted. Yep, go ahead and just mess it. Blah. So this little bit of epoxy right here is gonna almost coat this whole thing with the beautiful colors, really. I mean, a real nice mix of them. It'll come out looking like this. Notice how light Dakota's putting it on the backsplash here. Because remember, the heavier it is on your backsplash, what's more likely to happen is it's gonna run down due to being a vertical surface, and it'll pool right there at the base of the backsplash, and it'll look terrible. We have had to fix countertops that other companies, our competitors, have gone out and done because they didn't know what they were doing with the backsplash, and this is the system that we seem to find works best for us. Trent has been over here working with the heat gun, getting bubbles out of this one. This one here's done.
Who's that glove on? Right there, you can kind of see it.
So we are all done with the pour for today. Customer wants it heavily matted. So as you can see right now, it's still really glossy, right? And it's gonna stay that way overnight. We're gonna let it lay out and flow and do its thing all night long. And then tomorrow morning, we're gonna come in and sand it pretty heavily, actually, with 220 until it comes out and looks more like this. Once we're done sanding, we are going to install our rock hard top coat, and that's a matte top coat as well. Customer is going to be thrilled. All right, so we've got the entire countertop matted out now. The colors came out beautifully, and Trent is dry rolling over our rock hard top coat. By tomorrow morning, well, actually within the next 6 to 8 hours, this thing will be ready to go install, but we're not gonna go put it in till tomorrow. We want this baby to sit nice and cure all night long. So, customer is very happy with the appearance, and I gotta be honest, so am I. There we go. That's another happy customer, another countertop job in the books. We'll see you guys next time.